Most people don't need more advice, just the courage to gently face what they've been avoiding.
Because growth sounds beautiful until it asks you to be honest with yourself and stay. So, welcome to Touched and Empowered this week. Yay!
Yeah,
We are
we
excited.
made it.
We made it.
We
It's
made
halfway
it.
through May. Yay!
Oh my goodness.
And so many things are going on.
So many things.
And we
So many.
got some interesting questions.
Ooh la la,
Are you
questions.
ready?
Yes, let's do it.
How chaotic was it to plan your cross country trip?
Oh my goodness. So let's talk about that. So I moved twice before that,
Right.
and then 2 weeks before I had to take this trip with my dog, I was like getting over the fear of it. It was insane because I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm like fighting past trauma because I did go across the United States several different times actually in my early 20s, and each time had some type of near death experience. Like it was something. It was either I my first forest fire was the Big Sur forest fire that I was in and to Napa Valley, or running out of gas in the middle of the night in Arizona when it was like triple degree heat and no water. Like we were there was so yeah, that. Why do you
That
think I
that
was like
was bad.
that? No, that was awful. And then so I'm going to say something that's a real fear for minorities in the United States. You go to the wrong town with a Confederate flag and you're tan. Sundown towns, we don't do that. We don't
There's a
want to do that.
possibility, yeah.
Oh, like the amygdala just decides to spike, and you figure out any way which way not to talk to people. Like it's a thing, right? And during that one road trip in my early 20s, all of us were tan. We like stopped in
But
a
at
town.
least you weren't by yourself versus this one, it was just you and midnight.
Yeah, because I knew the mistakes already.
That's true.
I
That's true.
knew I knew the importance of gas, having a tank that actually has a really large, yeah, capacity.
Okay.
Um, and then additionally to that, there was like understanding having water in the car,
Right.
understanding orthopedics because we're in our 30s now. So I needed orthopedic
True.
chairs, like cushions.
Need support. I get it.
Yeah.
For certain for long periods of time.
Yeah, making sure the schedule is correct. And then I knew that these types of road trips, especially if you're going by yourself, I used to do road trips by myself all the time. And I loved it in my early 20s when I
Hmm.
had more energy. For anyone out there that's under 28, 29, that energy just, you find out there's such thing as a hangover at 28. It's like, so I understood my energy, and having a sustainable energy set of time was so important.
Oh yeah.
Falling asleep on the road, especially at night in a town that you don't know, is absolutely awful. Especially if you
It's
don't have service and most of your friends are looking at your location and wondering why you haven't moved in 24 hours.
that just sounds very scary. And that just removed any desire to for me to drive cross country right now.
Okay, so
But
this is how you do it properly, folks.
right, but
Planning
we
of
we
it.
had a few people sending questions, so that's why it's the topic of conversation today.
Oh, it's a great, yeah. Honestly, if it wasn't for all those near death mistakes that I
Yep.
learned from, they were great lessons. Could I give you this comprehensive map that will probably provide soon, and detailed plan as to how to go about it, where you're enjoying your trip, what items you could use, and all that fun stuff. Like all of that was from 5 to 6 years of holy heaven. Right, puppy?
Okay, so It sounds like you're in the process of creating this whole actual like mapping guide so people can use it to plan their trips. So what do you recommend right now until you that's available and we post it on the podcast website?
What are you doing the road trip for? Like that's the first question,
That's
right?
true. Are you doing it for the destination or are you doing it for the journey?
Exactly. If you're doing it for the journey, keep tuning in.
Hello, Midnight.
Midnight's here. Yeah, keep tuning in. If you're doing it from getting to point A to point B, there are some helpful tips here. You can do it as a female with a dog. That's 5'2", and going across the United States by yourself. You can. But I really highly recommend making an enjoyable experience more than anything because you are going to hit
Yeah.
interesting road bumps like I did. Go ahead, Kitty.
Well, I know about some of the interesting road bumps because one, we've talked about it before in a previous podcast episode. And two, you were calling and texting me like every break you had. Well, texting when you were braking, when you were taking breaks, but you were calling me while you were driving down the road, giving me updates as to what in the world was going on.
When I
So
had service.
when you had service, because that
Yeah.
was kind of hit or miss at
Oh, it was great.
times.
Yeah. I would talk to Katie and then like mid sentence or mid word drop out.
Mid-word, the call would die. And I'm like, okay, Ace will call back later. We're
Yeah.
just in a dead zone, probably going through a mountain, going through a valley, going through some random space that doesn't have towers. It's fine.
Yeah. There was I told everyone because I wanted to glamp, no service, off grid. And that was the night that I ran into some issues. Please go ahead, Katie.
So there weren't a lot of specific questions that came in other than that people wanted just some more information, some more details in reference to the best way to plan a trip for going across country. So you mentioned the managing the time, how many hours a day to actually be on the road driving because of safety issues. And we want everyone to be safe when they travel,
Yeah.
no
Your
matter what.
energy.
And know your personal energy level. Some people can drive only 4 hours, some people can drive 8
Exactly. I actually highly recommend not going over 6 hours a day if you're going consecutively.
consecutive days in a row.
Yeah. Just because focus level, like I said, your energy is so important that your energy affects your focus on the road. It
Hmm.
affects being clear when you're driving so you don't go the wrong way.
Right?
It affects your nervous system because you're entering territory you haven't been in before. So your nervous system is already a little heightened. So it's so important that your energy is sustained. Like nutrition is up, everything is up. Understanding that, yes, you only want to drink and drive 6 hours during daylight.
That's important because then you can see things a lot more clearly.
Yeah, that was one of the mistakes I did on this road trip. But yeah, I highly recommend if you are driving in California, Utah, Arizona, like any Colorado, anything through the Rockies. Oh my goodness, do not drive at night.
Oh yeah, those mountain roads can be scary.
There was this one, I was driving at night and there were three things that I had to look out for carefully. One, oncoming cars.
Right?
Two, making sure I didn't hit an arch in Utah.
That makes sense because they did have those stone arches that went over the roadway
Yeah, they
in
did.
some places. I do remember seeing that on some TV show.
Oh, that's reality. No, it was real. It was like I saw the stars and then I saw this little figment that like blacked out the stars. And then I was like, oh, that's an arch. That's stone.
Yeah, we don't want to run into stone.
Yep. Also antelopes or not antelopes. There's these deer-like things. I forgot what they're called. They're like in between a deer and something else. What's it called? Elk.
Oh, elk. Elk are big.
They're there. And moose.
Moose is worse.
Or cows. That was fun, especially so the free range cows that actually are grass fed. Yeah, you can drive next to them like I did.
I've okay, all the years that I did auto insurance, there were some very scary calls about people who hit moose or other very large animals. So yes,
Oh, yeah. The
definitely
moose are
need to be mindful of wildlife.
yeah, and moose are like more dangerous than freaking alligators. They really do actually charge at you, and they're the size, double the size of your car sometimes. Like they are
Yeah.
because they're territorial.
So
Yeah.
glad to know about what to be mindful of and time of day and the amount spent and everything else like that. And you mentioned being prepared with water, having
Ah,
a first aid kit.
so first aid kit is one thing, but nutrition is actually really important.
Yeah.
So, like I said, energy level, like that's the main focus for me is like you want to make sure that you have a sustained energy level. You are not tired. You like everything is organized in a way in your car that you don't get tired trying to look for things. Like that's also important.
Yeah. And you don't want to do a lot of caffeine because there's the crash. You want something that's sustainable.
Yeah, the crash is horrible actually on those road trips. Also because it's dehydrating if you have like a lot of like coffee.
Right.
So I didn't do the coffee route. I actually I called Katie and asked her about her,
My water flavoring.
yeah, she has a very specific tip or I would say consultation that you should probably go to her for when it comes to this. But essentially, I made sure that I was drinking enough water. I made sure I had enough vitamins to keep myself sustained, making sure I had all the nutrition. And then because I was too busy to like plan out where I was going to eat, I actually did call a nutritionist to
Yep.
help me figure it out. And we can put her info below as well. She essentially planned out my meals where I was going. I showed her where I was on the map and she found where I could eat.
Yeah, like where to go and pick up food that was actually going to be sustaining and healthy for you while you were on the road.
And not fast food. That like
Yeah.
because fast food also tires you out. So those stress levels are also like you don't want to think about what you need to eat when you're hungry.
Well, yeah, that's like grocery shopping when you're hungry. I mean, it always backfires.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, no. Like, and you don't like because that's the decision making that you don't have enough energy for if you're doing this by yourself.
Right.
Or you do, and you just need to nap somewhere on the road, which I don't recommend.
True. I mean, I've not driven as far across country, but I have done long road trips. The longest one I did by myself was a total of 20 hours drive time. So I did have one, I mean, I was doing like 9.5 hours a day on this trip because I only did one hotel stay on driving from Florida up to Baltimore.
Yeah.
I was a lot younger then. Um, but yeah, I had not planned out anything, but I remember pulling into rest stops, you need that bio break, and there were people sleeping in their cars at the rest stop.
I feel like it can be okay.
Well, yeah, because there are police officers who stop in those on a regular basis.
Right. But I'm a female and I'm 5'2".
Yeah, and I will say most of the people sleeping in their cars were male. So it's not something that I personally would do. I would probably find somewhere to actually sleep. But for that road trip, I got up at dark 30 in the morning. I drove as far as I could. I stopped at some random Super 8 and stayed the night, and then got up early the next morning, got back in the car and finished driving and pulled into my residence at like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Right. If it's a shorter trip like that, air quotes shorter,
Yeah, 20
that
hours being a shorter trip.
not a, yeah, that's air quotes. That is still a very,
Right.
very
I would
lengthy.
not been able to sustain that for, you know, what was it, 7 days that it took for you to get cross country, roughly?
It took me 9 because
Nine?
there was a day where I got stuck in Colorado.
That's true.
And not only did I get stuck in Colorado and needed to rest, I also cracked my knee on some ice and I needed to ice my knee that night just before I started driving.
So there's a lot of things to keep in mind for it. But it's funny because like what was it, last year? Yeah, it was last year. I did a road trip to Ohio because I was house sitting for a friend who was going on a trip, and Google Maps says it was 6 hours to get there.
Ah, that's
It
where they
took
get you.
me like 8.5.
Okay, so that's another really important thing. Thank you for bringing that up, actually. So when you're doing these crossroad trips,
Don't trust the time.
you have to calculate based off of the time of day and which
Right.
day that week. And you also have to remember where the high traffic areas are. Another thing to consider that depending on which state you're in, elevation,
True.
because that doubles the length of the,
It does it I don't know how it affects your
I could break that
the
down for you.
things. Go for
I
it
could
because the only
okay.
thing I can think of is how it messes with my perception of time when I'm driving through higher elevations.
So higher elevations, we're gonna take two states
Okay.
to give you some comparison. So when I was driving through Colorado, it always takes me 2.5, 3 days normally, regardless. Mainly because
Regardless of which way you go.
mainly because I want like one, I want the scenic route,
Right.
right? But then two, how do I put this? So two, you have to count Colorado like two states. The reason being is because elevation means you're doing this
Yeah, you're going up and down. You're not traveling
versus
straight across
or this or like you're doing something
or
up mountain.
winding. Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you're going through the Veil Pass, which is dangerous during winter, which I don't recommend.
Yeah, don't
But
do
have
that.
really but have a really good car with the right wheels if you're going to do it. Now, so it took me 2.5 days through Colorado with all the funny incidents because that's
Hmm.
it, energetically too. There's some vortexes there that
Right.
haven't been explored, and you will get really interesting like energetic feelings. You'll kind of get pulled. You'll get tired more frequently. Also, you got to drink water because the elevation is going to drain your energy, and you can dehydrate even faster. So it's like all of these
Because the
kind
air is thinner and all that stuff.
of air is thinner. There's normally snow.
In the Rockies, I think that there are some sections where there's snow like there 90% of the year, if not
Yeah,
100% of the time.
the Veil Pass, which is like the
I
most.
didn't know it was called. I just knew that it existed.
Oh no, yeah. So the Veil Pass. This is like Mountain Vale, of course. But then if you think about all the other mountains that you go to in Colorado,
Hmm.
that's the pass to get to those mountains, right?
Gotcha.
And sometimes that pass, even though it looks like a 20-minute drive, can be over an hour,
Oh,
depending if there's traffic. Some guy didn't have the right wheels, and now everyone is waiting for them to be towed, or it's snowing so hard that you have to go pretty much 4 miles an hour.
yeah. Those are definitely things that, one, you cannot always plan for.
Right. But you can be aware of it.
You can be aware of it and you can create a predictive time of driving, can kind of predict that you're not there during the coldest days of the month, or you're not there on the short, on nights on days when you're getting there at nighttime. I'll get my words right. I don't know why I can't
It's it's a,
Englishify today.
it's okay. I feel like Colorado could be its own YouTube video, but when it comes to so here are like the really good tips about specifically Colorado or Utah, depending if you're going for Colorado because there's always snow, but Utah if you are gonna um, traverse across snow-ridden roads, I recommend always having a shovel, a bag of salt,
Hmm.
and a full gas tank when you go through those states. If you have to stop, I kid you not, if you have to stop um, maybe to fill your tank at quarter of a like quarter tank in
Right.
Colorado, and you're not sure where your next gas stop is going to be, fill it. I don't, and then get a little,
Get a can.
yeah. Because honestly, this running out of gas there really is hard, and always, oh my gosh, your tires, they have to be full. The air has to be full.
Proper pressure.
Oh my, yeah. Otherwise, you can get stuck.
We're not going into that aspect of it.
Yeah.
But it makes sense because there's so many different components that actually go into it that we don't think about because we in the US, we're used to driving everywhere. Most of us.
Everywhere. Think about that. Most of the time, you're used to driving within your third of the country.
That's true. I just know that it's very different from like, for example, I was watching a video of someone who was in England and they were making comments that everywhere that they would drive, is within like 15 minutes versus they were watching, and a long distance trip was like maybe a 1 hour drive. Versus people in the US are taking day trips, driving all the way across, or week trips, driving all the way across the country. They had a hard time perceiving the amount of distance that we drive on a regular basis, just commuting back and forth to work
Yeah, I had
because
to.
they don't have to deal with that.
What's the limit for your oil change? I forgot. 4,000?
Depending on the type of oil that your vehicle uses, it's anywhere between, and the condition of your engine and all these other components, it could be between 3,000 and 10,000.
So
It really depends.
I had to change my oil because that's how many miles I drove.
Right. I mean, that's really insane if you think about it as to how much mileage you put on your car. Because I normally, I mean, also they say you're supposed to get your oil changed, I think like every 3 months, 6 months, depending on brand and how much mileage you put on your vehicle. Because the oil will actually break down if you're not driving that much.
Yeah, no, yeah, it does. Like it's always rent. All right, I don't know. So another thing is like I have a little bit of car experience
Right?
because I love driving across the US and had to learn the hard way. So what you like what I remember if I didn't put oil in my car, your engine breaks down and that's a really heavy bill on my lease. It was it was such a
Yeah.
heavy bill on my lease. Well, on top of that, so I kind of grew up with my father being a mechanical engineer. So, and his gift was cars. Like he knows how to build cars, whatnot. And watching him through osmosis, it's not that hard. There's a manual. And then there's YouTube to teach you too.
Yes. I
But
will have the caveat, used to. There's too much computer stuff in vehicles now.
the manual is pretty clear.
On some things. Maybe it's just the type of vehicle that I own that the manual
maybe.
is not that clear.
Okay, so I took a rental car. I recommend taking a rental car actually. So I took a rental car, unlimited miles. I got a really great deal. It was like it was a Black Friday deal. So instead of paying over $1,000 for a car for a month, I paid $450.
I think it was like half. So yeah, that's close.
Yeah, it was 450. That's like a lease.
Yeah, that's
And
enough. That's like a car payment.
that's a car payment. So that was pretty great. Like the deals are really awesome. A good portion of the time you get free upgrades. Just be nice to the person who's, helping you rent the car.
Right.
Just be respectful. They get really interesting people yelling at them all the time. So just a nice person can make anyone's day. And I've noticed they tend to reciprocate the kindness.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's with all service industry people in my thing. If you are nice to your waiter or waitress, they will be nice to you. If you're nice to the cashier, they will be nice to you.
Yeah, and be genuinely nice. Don't fake it. You can tell. But it was really interesting because it was fun. I got the upgrade, but then I still understood a good portion of what to do with my car. Like I knew even if I didn't know how to fill my tires, specifically the ones that were on the car, I knew how to ask somebody to help me.
Right.
And where to ask them. Like go to a gas station where there's every trucker known to man there to help you. Like I was in Kansas and I remember going up to somebody and asking, and they also, being female helps. Like it's nice because I've noticed males, especially truckers, that are you can get a good vibe from. My dog checked the vibe for me. They tend to like really help you out, which is really kind.
Which is very nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the fear of people being mean to you when you're on road trips across the US. Like if you take the wrong route, if you take the route that I will give you, you'll find probably the most respectful human beings that are also taking the same journey with you.
Which is wonderful news. And I know that at least the two people who had sent in questions would love your PDF when you get that finished. So we will put that up on the website when we get that chance. Yeah. But do you have any other last minute tips before we have to call it wraps today?
If you decide to do a full cross country trip, from LA or somewhere, Oregon, wherever you want to go on the West Coast, to the East Coast, your life is going to change. And it's like so worth it. Don't get me wrong. It's very important for you to take the proper precautions when you go across the United States. And all of that will be either in the PDF or you can have a consultation call with me and I can help fill you in on that. But it will 100% change your life, build your confidence, put you in situations that challenge your disbelief in yourself to make sure that you remember how to stay alive.
That you are capable, creative, and resourceful enough to do it yourself.
Oh yeah. Especially when you don't know how to use the SOS feature on your phone yet. You learn. And it's honestly, this country is so beautiful, especially if you go the national park route. It's so gorgeous. And I wish people took the time to see it more because I feel like people would complain less being humbled by how beautiful the nature is across the United States.
So on that note, everyone enjoy your day, get some sunshine. We'll see you next time. If this conversation stirred something in you, don't just sit with it, work with it. You can go deeper with us through our sessions, workshops, and community experiences designed to support your growth in real time.
All the details are in the show notes, and if this episode resonated, share it with someone who's ready to meet themselves a little more honestly. Until next time, challenge what you believe.
Choose who you become.